joepags.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. It's all right there. Also, Newsmax TV. Glad to have you here. It's the Joe Pags Show coming your way on a Thursday. Feeling all right? Uh-huh. Say what? Ba-do-do-do-do-do-do. It is the Huey Lewis version of the Joe Cocker arrangement. Dave Mason classic. Feeling all right?
Every night I have
Polo and Sam are here. Chocolate Boy's out. Thursday Night Football, allegedly. Who knows? Could be wine night.
Could have been.
Oh, I think it is. It's wine night, isn't it? Down at the pub?
Here on my own, so it seems.
No? You're saying no?
I got to leave before
Oh, come on. You got to say something. You can't just shake your head.
Won't someone lock
I don't want to interrupt your singing.
All right, let's go.
You feeling all right?
You should have interrupted that one.
I'm not feeling too good myself.
Oh, yeah. That's how we do.
Yes, sir. You're feeling all right. I'm not feeling too good myself.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's the hernia talking right there. That's the hernia. All right, glad to have you along for the ride. Thanks. So earlier today, I'm floating around the phone lines. I'm interviewing some people. Had Ronna Romney McDaniel on last hour. We've got Jerron Smith coming up next hour. This hour it'll be Campus Reform and John Streeter. He's the managing editor over there. And Sam, you know how I do, Sam? I'll open up the phone lines, and then we have to do that so that people can call in the hotline, right? Not sure if Sam can talk or not, but she could definitely hear me. So I did that. And Polo, I get this anonymous phone call coming in. Now, what's the rule about anonymous if they call the show?
You don't answer.
Yeah, because if I don't have a phone number I can call you back on, and we lose you, it's kind of bad radio. I want to be able to call you back. And if you call in and say a bunch of F words or whatever, we want to make sure that we know who you were when you did it. So when you call in, if you've got your phone line blocked, unblock it. Now, occasionally we'll get a senator call the hotline. The president calls the hotline. So when it's anonymous and it's before the show, and this was an hour before the show, I'm like, well, I better answer this. So answer it. It's a lady. Joe, Pags. It's blah, blah, blah from New York and New Jersey. We can't hear you. We try to call in. I'm like, wait a second. So an hour before the show, I'm just talking to some lady. And she sounded nice enough. You know, a nice viewer, whatever. And she's frustrated because she tries to call the show and can't get through. And then I had to tell her the whole anonymous thing. So let me say it again. First of all, you know, if you catch me at the right time, you might actually just be able to call and I might answer. But if it's anonymous, we're not going to answer. You're not going to be on the air because it's just not the right thing to do. You can unblock your phone very easily. Now, if we know that you're calling in and you're the president of the United States, I actually told her, I said, I only answered it because there was a chance you were the president. She started laughing. But that's sort of the rule. That only makes sense. It's more appropriate that we're able to find out who's calling in. We can call you back if something drops. If you're right in the middle of a very good point, maybe the commercial break happened. We want to have that ability, and we can't do that if you dial in and it's blocked and it's anonymous. Those of you in Denver, hopefully you're starting to get the drift that we're now on at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We were on at 10 p.m., and Paul, I had no idea we had so many listeners at 10 p.m. because they're like, where's the show? Why did they take you off? They didn't. They put us on at 6 now, which is a much better time. We're actually live 4 to 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'm not sure if you're getting an hour live from 6 to 7 and then you get the other 2 hours replayed or what it is, but we're very, very happy. And Tim, thank you for doing it, to be on at 6 p.m. now on K-How, 630 K-How in Denver. We love being on at that time. It's wonderful. It's a great move. Thank you. So I didn't see this, and I have never. I'm being honest. I'm not denigrating the guy because I don't know him. I'm not trying to denigrate him by saying I don't know him. There's some guy named John Avlon, A-V-L-O-N. I'm guessing that's how he pronounces it. I've never seen him before. I've never heard him say it. But this guy is on CNN. He's some sort of a host or a something. I don't know if he considers himself a reporter or what the story is. But, wow. This guy, on 9/11, decided to do a report comparing Islamic terrorism and so-called right-wing terrorism. Okay? This is from The Blaze. CNN says right-wing terrorists are worse than Islamist terrorists who attacked on 9/11. And they get brutal backlash. This is from Carlos Garcia. CNN's John Avlon faced a lot of backlash in social media after a bizarre segment where he tried to compare the attack on 9/11 to the threat of, quote, right-wing terrorism on the anniversary of the horrible attack. Quote, here's a startling statistic, he said. Since 9/11, right-wing terrorists have killed more people in the United States than jihadist terrorists, Avlon said during the segment entitled Reality Check. Quote, there are some folks for their own political purposes, would like to keep the focus on only one form of political violence over another. But that would be unwise because we don't have the luxury of choosing which threats we face. And there's a case to be made that these threats actually echo each other, he continued. Quote, as our colleague Jim Sciutto and others have argued, they're weaponized versions of tribalism motivated by fear and finding identity in their hatred of the other, Avlon said. Quote, to mark the 18th anniversary of 9/11 is to reflect on how we're all the children of 9/11. The attack unleashed destructive forces that we're still wrestling with, Avlon concluded, but to truly learn the lessons of 9/11 is to resolve not to let hate win or fear define us, said this asswagon. Of course, the response of social media was pretty swift, and that's to be expected. This guy's an idiot. And here's the reason why. I don't know the numbers that he's using because I didn't watch the segment. But to call something right-wing terrorism already is an oddity. Because I'm somebody who's on the right and I'm right-wing. I'm not a terrorist. I don't have terrorist intentions. I would never, ever think of killing somebody who didn't agree with me. Or punching or hurting or anything. So calling it right-wing terrorism is weird. You want to call it white supremacy terrorism? I'll hear you. You want to call it Nazi terrorism? I'll hear that. But to call it right-wing terrorism is a generalization that should be wholesale rejected. It's a ridiculous thing to say. But there's one thing that he left out of this report, this so-called report, this ridiculous, non-objective piece of garbage. Not him, the report. He left out the almost 3,000 that died on 9/11. He actually said, okay, here's about 3,000 that died on 9/11, but since then, look at how horrible these right-wingers are. He's not including the 3,000. If he includes that, it's not even close. Not even close. He's also not including the millions of people that have been killed globally by radical Islamic terrorists since 9/11. Millions. There are people being lined up and killed today because they're Christians in the certain places on earth where you're not allowed to be Christian. Where you're gay, you're being thrown off of a rooftop. This guy is talking about what's happening in the United States, and he didn't include the number killed on 9/11. The CNN's ratings are plummeting. I don't know where CNN is on my cable. I've got to find it every time there's a debate or something that I must watch for you guys. And I do it for you, the people. CNN's ratings, MSNBC's ratings are all plummeting because it turned out they were lying for 2 years, 3 years about Trump-Russia collusion. They were lying about what the president was saying about banning all Muslims. They were lying about what they were saying about the no-fly list, from these certain countries. They were lying about what they were saying about his alleged hatred for Mexicans and calling them all rapists and murderers, which he didn't say. They've been lying about him. And through every result, whether it's the IG reports, whether it's Mueller himself and the Mueller report, every single report, every single investigation comes back fruitless, yet they keep on pounding in the same drone. They drone in the same drum over and over and over again. It's almost like a pulsating in the background. Trump, bad collusion. It's horrible. This is what they do. They've historically done this since this guy won the election. This guy, John Avlon, who, again, I've never seen his face before just now. He has a job on a network that once prided itself in being the news network. It was the news network we turned to during the Iraq War and so on. It was the news network. And now we've got people on there ignoring the death and mayhem brought on 9/11 and focusing on something else and somehow comparing the two as if they're the same. ignoring the death around the world since 9/11, and ignoring the fact that, of course, we changed how we act in this country after 9/11 to make sure it couldn't happen again. It's like, see? Ha! Jihadist terrorism isn't a big deal. Look at the right-wingers. Dude, it's nuts. There's a level of psychiatry that I can never... I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't analyze this guy or people like him other than to say, I'm a logical, rational human being. This guy's an idiot. There's something wrong with him. For him to feel good about with the job he did yesterday, go home and be like, hey, honey, look what I did today. To me, it's mind-boggling. 888-941-PAGS, 888-941-7247, joepags.com. Bottom of the hour, it's going to be Campus Reform, John Street. He is the managing editor there. Make sure you stick around. Nuttiness on campus. Like, you can get credit, seriously, by being lazy at one university. I kid you not. We've got that for you. And also, I'll continue taking phone calls. What do you expect tonight in the Democrat debate? Will you watch it, or are you going to make me watch it for you, then report back tomorrow? 888-941-PAGS, joepags.com. Stay right here. Thanks. It's the Joe Pags Show. 888-941-PAGS, 888-941-7247. Paulo, is this embarrassing? I don't even know what network the debate was on tonight. I just found it during the break. It's on ABC. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
I did not.
ABC. So I've now recorded it. We could play a game. I know that people want the T-shirts. We have to get the T-shirts going. But if I had T-shirts, I'd say the person who guesses how long I watched tonight, the closest to how long I actually watched, would get a T-shirt. But we don't have them yet. You're saying people want the T-shirts?
That's what they're saying.
All right. I don't know. I'm just here telling you that.
What you could do is since the big old thing with the president and the Sharpie thing.
Yeah.
Make a shirt with a Sharpie, and there you go.
Just a shirt with a Sharpie on it?
No, I mean...
actually make a shirt, like take a white shirt and just write Joe Pags on it? Come on, man.
Yeah.
What is that? we actually have shirts. We actually have shirts, but I want to here's what I want to make sure of. That they're good enough quality that people would actually want to buy them. And then we'll give like a percentage of the proceeds or something to a great charity. But I mean, I don't want to like start selling shirts until it's like really good. But at this point, we just have to do it now. We've been talking about it for too long. You'd wear it to work, Polo, or not? You'd be embarrassed.
I guess it just depends
on
what day I was wearing it.
It's going to be the logo, but that's behind you. Be on a shirt.
I know. I know. It would just depend on what day I wear it.
Why? What does that mean?
Well, because typically on days like Fridays, there's a lot less people here.
So you'd wear it then when nobody could see it? Well, that defeats the purpose.
Well, I'm just saying.
You wouldn't get what? The people love being in that room, in the hallways in that building. You can't.
No. I'm not talking about downstairs.
Oh, you mean out?
People downstairs. Maybe the people like on the second floor. Okay. If I go up there, they start giving me like those ugly looks. Like, oh.
Well, feel free to tell the people on the second floor that we're paying the bills on this show, okay? They'll be okay. They have a computer and the lights work because of our program and others, of course, in the building. Let me go to the phone lines, 888-941-PAGS, joepags.com. You watching tonight? And also your thoughts on this guy, John Avlon. What kind of drugs is he smoking? Jake, what's going on in Minnesota? Hi. Hello, Jake. What's happening?
Yo, Joe, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
To that, where you were talking about this Avalon guy, and I think there's a reason why you or I or nobody really has seen this guy's face before, and I think the clear reason is CNN had one goal, and the goal was to put this out there, scare people, obviously on the left that are going to digest it, and they're going to try to coin phrase a new suggestion that the right wing people are all terrorists. But they wanted to see how that was going to go over in the public, and obviously if it didn't go over very well, they didn't have to smear one of their, mainstream, normal faces that are on the network all the time.
So take somebody that we'd never heard of before and use him for it.
Exactly. Then we'll never see him again if it didn't work out very well.
Well, it didn't work out very well, but I think we'll probably see him again because CNN historically is not very smart. I mean, obviously, they went from this great network that so many of us tuned in to watch to this network that we laugh at now.
Very true. Very true. I'm just thinking that this is probably a tactic. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense to me why they would choose somebody that nobody's really seen, throw it out there. They still got the information out, too. I mean, that obviously worked as well.
I got you. No, I hear you. They got the information out, but it was incorrect. It was incorrect because you forgot the biggest attack, which was the day before. He starts adding them up after people stopped dying from the attacks of 9/11. And what is he calling a right-wing terrorist attack? The guy in Dayton, Ohio, was a left-wing terrorist. And why aren't we adding up left-wing terrorist killings? Why aren't we doing that? Or maybe we can admit what happened on 9/11, as I said yesterday. People of an ideology, of a religion, where they believe their God demanded and commanded them to kill innocent people because they didn't believe like them. That's the truth. Now, we could break down the reasons and motives behind any sort of malicious attack, and finding out what gets us there could hopefully prevent it next time. But we have prevented a lot of terrorist attacks in this country since 9/11 because of the swift moves of the Bush administration, making the Department of Homeland Security bring agencies together so they shared information with each other, which they didn't do purposely under Clinton. I mean, there's a reason why there have been fewer attacks. And the reason is we took steps to make sure that we stopped them before they happened. Carol is in San Antonio. Carol, what's going on? Hi.
Hi, Joe. Glad to talk to you.
Thank you.
I am going to watch the debate for a little time.
Right.
But I don't believe that any one of those candidates will be the nominee. I think it's going to be Michelle Obama.
Why? I got to stop you. I got to stop, and here's why. I want to hear, but I want to ask you very directly, because I'm going to run out of time otherwise. Why on God's green earth do people like you, and I love you like a sister, and others keep telling me it's Michelle Obama? She's nowhere near this fray. There are 23 idiots up there already. They can choose one of those idiots. She keeps saying she's not going to run. Why do you think it's going to be Michelle Obama? Help me understand.
Well, it's because of those 23 idiots, because people are listening and are thinking these people are so radical, none of them can beat Trump. And that is the whole goal, is to beat Trump. Michelle Obama, her two things she has going for is race and gender, because they're the things that would get her through. And the fact
but Kamala Harris has the same race and gender. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Michelle Obama agrees. Carol, she agrees with everything these idiots are saying. She agrees with all of it. The entire agenda, the progressive agenda, was started by her husband, for God's sakes, and she believes every single last word of it. So to say that it gets rid of the crazies and brings somebody who's more normal and more moderate, more palatable, I don't agree, because if Trump is smart, and I think he is, he can expose her like he has them for being a radical, which is what she is.
But I think he would have to be extremely careful.
Was he careful with Hillary Clinton?
There's a difference. Hillary
just the race.
She had her own baggage. No, she came with her own baggage. This is Michelle Obama. I think he would have a very difficult time with Michelle Obama because of the fact that some people see him as a racist. There are women out there who, of course, marched against him right after the inauguration. I honestly think that she would come across more as not that she would be a moderate. I think she'd be progressive.
Well, she's not, right?
But I think she would come across, because everybody is watching what the 10 people are saying. And they all know how radical they are. No matter how you look at it, they're very radical.
I have to run. Hey, Carol, I think that you make an interesting point. You and I are not going to agree, because I think that she would be out there already. She'd be on at least the talk shows talking about how closely she's watching it. I mean, we're not hearing a peep from her. And from what I understand, she and Barack are making a documentary about the Trump administration, which is completely inappropriate. But I do appreciate you. I mean, it's interesting to think about. I just am not somebody who thinks that she's somebody that would jump into the fray. I also don't think that President Trump would have a hard time going after her. The record, and her record is Obama's record, is Barack's record. And that's easy to go after because it was a horrible agenda. 888-941-PAGS, joepags.com. Campus Reform when we come back. Stations across the land, joepags.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. The Parlay app is there as well. Also, Newsmax TV. It's the Joe Pags Show. Glad to have you here. Really glad to have this guy on. He's the managing editor of campusreform.org, a website I go to every morning. Great young journalist, put the legacy media to shame every day. It's John Street. John, how are you?
I'm doing well, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, really appreciate having you on. There's so much going on at all times. You guys do just an incredible job. And as the managing editor, I used to be a managing editor at a TV station. I know what that takes. So you're doing a wonderful job. And again, I appreciate the time.
It's great to be on your show always. We appreciate you having us on.
Well, I get great reaction every single time. Let's jump into something I just saw on your Twitter, which is, by the way, at JONSTREET. Go and follow John right now. There's not really a class that's teaching students that they have the right to be lazy, is there? I mean, that's not real, is it?
Unfortunately, I am sad to report that it is real. It is a class offered through the University of California, Berkeley's DeCal program. This is the Democratic California program at Berkeley. Okay. This is a student-taught but faculty-approved course, and basically these are student advisors who teach other students, and these are all 4-credit classes part of the DeCal program, and they're teaching students that it's all right to be lazy, that it's a shift in Marxism course, and this is just one of many courses that we've covered at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform in the past several weeks. Wow. Where we've had everything from Bear Closet, where students go to local high schools and middle schools to share their coming out stories with high schoolers and middle schoolers for credit to earn that for college credit, to learning about the Marvel Universe, to learning about the world of Harry Potter.
Come on, man.
I mean, these are insane courses that you just would not think students would actually go to college and actually take. But in fact, it's happening, and they're getting college course credit for it rather than taking your traditional math, science, history courses, and that's why we're seeing the lack of a civics education in society today. And
this is in the University of California system, which means it's subsidized by taxpayers in California. Exactly. So we're paying for students to go and take a class for credit that teaches them how to be lazy. Now, I'm not an expert on Marxism, but socialism and Marxism doesn't promote being lazy. It's a horrible system. It's nowhere near as great as capitalism is, and socialism has always failed, but it doesn't promote lazy. It actually promotes controlling the people and making them go do nominal jobs. So I don't get the connection. So does this how does it work, John? You may or may not know this, but do they have to get this approved by the faculty, by the UCal system, and they say, well, yeah, it's a great course. Let's teach kids how to be lazy?
So the way that the system works, so we've reached out to the University of California, Berkeley to see how the system comes about. Yeah. And the way that it works is the University of California, Berkeley has pushed back, kind of distancing itself from this program, saying, well, we don't really approve, we don't really have any say over, the administration doesn't have any say over these courses. They are approved by the faculty or the academic senate. And they're the ones who approve these courses that students then go and teach, and they are then advised by faculty members.
I'm going to need the academic senate to be drug tested, John. I'm just going to help you out with that. I'm going to need a drug test and maybe a psych eval. It's John Street at JONSTREET on Twitter. Go and follow him, the managing editor at campusreform.org. Sean Spicer is a guy that took a job in the administration, worked for the president, was the press secretary for a short amount of time. He's a guy that I would not turn the job down had I been asked to be the press secretary. Most people would love to reach that sort of a height. He's now going to be on Dancing with the Stars. So here's my question, because you tell me there's a professor, you'll tell us where this is, that's leading an effort to stop Sean Spicer from speaking on campus. Does the professor have a problem with the fact that he was a press secretary, or does he have an issue with Dancing with the Stars? What is this guy's problem, or this gal's problem?
Well, this professor at Northeastern Illinois University, he has expressed disagreement with the fact that Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary under the Trump administration, is set to come on campus to speak along with Donna Brazile, former DNC chair. You would think that there are no better two people to talk about the topic at hand, the 2016 and 2020 elections, than the former DNC chair and the former Trump administration White House press secretary.
Right.
So you would think those two people would be qualified to talk about this, but in this professor's opinion, along with dozens of other faculty members and students, they do not want Sean Spicer coming onto campus because they say that he promotes the ideas of white nationalism. They cite how he supported, of course, President Trump's immigration policies.
Right.
They're saying that he supports forms of bigotry and oppression.
Not true.
So they just don't want him to speak.
Now, none of that's true. By the way, Donna Brazile, as the DNC chair, screwed Bernie Sanders. That's known. We know that the Democratic National Committee actually made sure Bernie Sanders wouldn't win and that Hillary Clinton would. She also gave questions to Roland Martin, one of the moderators at a CNN town hall, so that Roland gave her the question. She gave the question to Hillary Clinton. They basically cheated in a town hall between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. She's welcome, though. Nobody's saying don't let her come.
Yeah, there's been no word about Donna Brazile and having her speak or not being welcome to speak on the campus. So essentially, this just shows they only want to hear what they already believe, and they want that reinforced. They don't want to hear from the other side. They don't want to hear from the Sean Spicers of the world. And this just goes to show that in the real world, there is civil discourse, and these students are not getting this on campus. So when they graduate from college and they go out into the real world and get jobs, they're going to have a rude awakening when they find out that, unlike on the college campus, you're going to get both sides of the story, whether you like it or not, and you're going to have to find a way to agree with that, or at least come to terms with hearing it, because you're not always going to get to say and police who speaks and who doesn't.
Yeah, you guys do a great job showing both sides of every issue and exposing a lot of this nuttiness. It's John Street, managing editor over at campusreform.org. Campusreform.org. Go there every day like I do, at John Street over on Twitter. You've got exclusive video on the website of a public university official doing what? Because you're conservative, you're not welcome? Is that the story?
So at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, we had some conservative activists on campus, and they were tabling, trying to get students to sign up for a conservative group.
Sure.
And an events manager for the university came over to the table and said, "This is not an approved tabling location. You have to move somewhere else." Again, this is a taxpayer-funded public university, and they're telling them where they can and cannot table to recruit new students. This is free speech zones where we see on college campuses all across the country. We report on them all the time at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform.
Yeah.
These are antithetical to the U.S. Constitution. They are not in line with the First Amendment at all. And when these students go out into the real world, they're going to learn really quickly there are no free speech zones like on college campuses. People express their opinions in the workplace, out on the streets, in the grocery store, wherever.
And you're allowed to,
You're going to hear different opinions, and you have to get used to that reality. You cannot spend your entire life on a college campus unless you're a professor, and get to dictate where people can say what they believe and where they can't.
It's a great word. They are dictating. They're acting like dictators. But didn't the president just sign an executive order with members of your organization there saying, of course you've got free speech on campus?
He did. He signed a free speech executive order aimed at promoting the ideals of free speech on public college campuses. Essentially, he tied federal research funding, of which there are literally billions of dollars each year that go to these institutions. And the executive order essentially said, look, if you're not going to uphold the ideals of the First Amendment, then you're putting your federal research funding at stake. Now, we haven't exactly seen any action come about in terms of consequences for any university that we know of yet. However, the Trump administration, as we've been in contact with them, they are aware of these situations on college campuses, and will monitor and keep track of whether they hold these campuses and these colleges feet to the fire on this executive order that the president signed earlier this year.
I hope they crack down. It's John Street. He's a managing editor over at campusreform.org, at John Street, JONSTREET over on Twitter. One last one. An Antifa sympathizer, or Antifa, I don't know how I'm pronouncing it right, sympathizer didn't really speak yesterday, did he or she? On the anniversary of 9/11? That didn't happen, did it?
He did. And this happened, so this actually happened on the eve of 9/11 on September 10th. And Mark Bray, he is a former lecturer at Dartmouth University, and he spoke at a college in Pennsylvania, Bucknell University, on the eve of 9/11. Now, this is a man who wrote a book called Antifa, the Anti-Fascist Handbook. He then donated half of the proceeds of that book to Antifa, which is a group that has used violence to shut down ideas that they do not like in the past. Right. And they have the president has said President Trump has said that he is considering labeling that group as a domestic terrorist organization.
It is, yeah.
The man who wrote a book and donated half of the proceeds from his book to that organization spoke at an American university on the eve of 9/11 when we lost the anniversary of when we lost 3,000 fellow Americans. That's a sad day in our country, and I am afraid that we are forgetting the tragedy of 9/11 the farther along that we get, and we have to teach our generations of students on college campuses now the tragedy that 9/11 was. And if we don't do that, this is going to continue to happen. We're going to continue to see the rise of Antifa on the college campus.
I agree.
And that is going to be just not a pretty sight for America.
Yeah, I agree. Antifa certainly is a terrorist organization. It is certainly the exact opposite of what it says it is. When you go around and violently try to shut down people's ability to disagree with you, you are in fact the fascists. And I think that we're slowly but surely, through your great reporting and through shows like mine, we're exposing the American people to exactly how horrible this group is. But you've got places like Portland and Minneapolis allowing these groups to shut down roads and take over places. At some point, you do need executive action to say, hold on a second, these are the bad guys. Stop allowing that to happen. And as you say, they're becoming, they're purveying this noise and this mess and this hatred on as many college campuses as they can. Are these campuses, last quick one, these campuses welcoming them? Do they want them to speak there? And if so, why?
Well, in the case of Bucknell University, the university, we reached out to a statement for a statement to them, and what they told us is, we welcome all viewpoints, and this is a problem not because they're welcoming all viewpoints, but because this particular viewpoint that is being supported and is being provided a platform is advocating for violence. This is a group that has openly demonstrated and advocated for the use of violence.
Right.
They say that if we deem your speech to be hateful or bigoted, then we see justification to use violence against you. That is not a platform that we should be giving to people on American college campuses. If somebody has a difference of opinion, we should be able to voice that. All sides should be able to voice that.
Yes.
But if you're using your platform simply to advocate for violence, that is not an okay thing.
No, I'm with you. I mean, people keep saying that that speech is violence. Conservative speech is violence. Traditional American values somehow is violent speech. Now you've got a group that actually does violence, actually hurts people, breaks their noses, their jaws, actually throws things at them, physically shuts down roads. This is a group that has shown we are a violent group of people, and for some reason they're allowed to speak. It's very strange. John, I appreciate the time. He's the managing editor over at campusreform.org. It's John Street, JONSTREET on Twitter. Thanks a million. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe.
All right, brother. We're back after this in the Joe Pags Show. Stay right here. Great to have you, the Joe Pags Show, 888-941-PAGS, joepags.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. Do me a favor, stop by there. Also click on the Parlay app. While you're there, you can also just scroll down a little bit and subscribe for the Pags Post. It is the Pags Post. It's basically just my newsletter. I just thought Pags Post sounded cool. You put your email address in that. You'll get an email every day. Sent that out a little bit late, about 20 minutes late today. So some of you writing me, they really held up your email today. It was me. And again, I'm the one that sends those out. I put those together, send out news stories that we're covering. Also, we send out the guest list. Like today, we've got RNC Chair Ronna Romney, first hour, Ronna Romney McDaniel. Second hour, we had, we just heard from him, John Street from Campus Reform. Got Jerron Smith, who is a special deputy or deputy assistant to the President of the United States, and also involved in innovation from this administration. What does that even mean? So we've got that for you. But you also see Popeyes tweets, bring your own bee solution for sold out chicken. What is BYOB? Is it bring your own bun? What is that? Do you know?
Yes.
So they have the chicken, they just don't have the bun?
Sort of.
Come on, dude. What does that mean?
They're saying that you can get like a 3-piece chicken strip, and then I guess with your own bread, make the sandwich.
Oh, come on. So why don't they take the 3-piece chicken strip and put it on a piece of bread and sell it like that? Why do I have to bring my own bun?
I don't have bread. Because I guess I don't have bread.
Oh, is this really a thing? This isn't really a thing. Is it the stupid sandwich? Come on.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't even think that those strips are going to be 100% the same as that chicken's,
of course not. There's strips. One is a patty, one is a strip.
Right.
Come on, dude.
So it's just dumb.
I think that they're continuing the hubbub about this and the energy about this because they really think people are going to go and buy it. Now, listen, I'm not stupid. I'm not naive. I think that people probably will go buy it. They probably will. But I'm not going to. I will not fall for this where I've got to go try this now to see what all the hubbub is about. Ain't happening. I think it's kind of nuts, to be honest with you.
It is, but the thing is that, that's the only way you could even try to get a sandwich from them because the sandwich itself is out till
right. I don't want it.
October.
Right. I don't want it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And hopefully a lot of other people will sort of do what I'm doing. You shouldn't want the sandwich. It's just stupid. Let me tell you about Butcher Box. I want some Butcher Box. That's for sure. I want some great meat from Butcher Box. I'm talking about humanely raised organic meat, no added hormones, antibiotics ever. Talking about ground beef, strip steak, sirloin steaks, whole pork tenderloin, boneless, skinless chicken that's free-range raised. This is the right stuff. And again, you get it delivered right to your door, and the shipping is free. Ground beef is great. Use it for burgers, chili, meatballs. Grill it up, snack on it later on. It's really, really great meat. It's quality meat. And again, I talk to nutritionists all the time at the gym, and they're like, you got to go with the grass-fed. You got to go and make that happen. Right now, Butcher Box is taking care of you because you watch or listen to my show. If you're a new member, you get $20 off your first box. Free ground beef for the life of your subscription when you sign up at butcherbox.com/PAGS. In addition to the great meat you get, ButcherBox is knocking $20 off your first box, throwing in 2 pounds of free ground beef in every box for the life of your subscription when you sign up at butcherbox.com/PAGS. Butcherbox.com/PAGS. Get it done. One last mention about what we'll see tonight. What you'll see tonight is a bunch of people desperate to make you dislike the country, dislike the path of the country, dislike the president who was duly elected. They're going to go on about how horrible things are. They'll pit rich versus poor. Middle class is somewhere in the middle. They'll pretend like wealth is a zero-sum game, that if Polo has it, I can't have it. That's not true. Polo can have it, and I can have it, and Sam can have it, and you can have it. Wealth has never been, income has never been a zero-sum game. If I'm making it, you can't, is untrue in a capitalistic free enterprise society. So when you go in tonight, if you're going to watch this debate, do so with open eyes, open ears, and open understanding to what's going on. 888-941-PAGS, joepags.com. Stay right here.